just realized before making this video that Mercury Retrograde has just started. So Mercury Retrograde is from Feb 16 to March 10. It's the first of the retrogrades this year, I believe. I'm not a astrologer. I'm just going with what I know and what I've read and off, from my experience and all the stuff from, off the top of my head. I'm sure you can understand when you've gone through a couple of Mercury retrogrades, or when you've become, the first time you've ever become aware of Mercury retrograde. I mean, you kind of know the drill. And how it goes is that I guess the planets or the signs or something also kind of influence it. When Mercury retrograde is was in retrograde, there's always problems typically with communication. You're not supposed to do any legal stuff. You're not supposed to start anything or end anything during retrograde. And I read that this is the first retrograde in Pisces, so this is supposed to be like the easiest one. So for those of you who are like me, who really get their butts kicked by retrograde, this is a good sign. And because it says that, it kind of takes on the, the characteristics of Pisces. Pisces, generally speaking, they've got, they're known for their good humor, not taking matters too seriously. And, so it's basically, that's a good way to approach this retrograde, Aries. Just take things with a grain of salt. Don't start anything, don't end anything. If you can hang on until March 10, then that's good. Okay, because, usually retrograde rehashes a lot of things. It's either all the stuff that you've been trying to sweep under the rug kind of like comes out, and then you have to deal with it, and it's how you deal with it that will kind of like determine the kind of retrograde you're having. So it's very important not to be reactive, because then the pile just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Kind of like, when you stub your toe, how do you react to that? And then it just it's a domino effect. And I also read that, Venus is kind of involved in this retrograde. So it's going to be, I don't know, they say there's going to be some pleasurable experiences, but I'm not so clear on what that is. So again, I'm not an astrologer, so I suggest that you read and see what comes up. Okay, so this is a special reading for you, Aries. It's about your Mercury retrograde, and if he or she, if you're watching this for a love reading where you want to know if someone is going to come back from your past, or if your ex and you are going to get back together this retrograde, what does this retrograde have in store for you? Okay, Aries. So here again, so the way I do my readings is I'm an intuitive tarot reader. So sometimes I use exactly what the cards mean, but most of the time what I do is I just, tell you what comes to mind, the messages that are being brought to me when I'm looking at the pictures and the way it's laid out. The way I do it, it's kind of like a storyboard. Okay, so let's get started with your reading, Aries. All right, so during this retrograde, now that you know it's retrograde, it's the time to be very mindful. This is the time to, if you see this is the shaman, okay, kind of like stop, like, hey, okay, we've experienced this before. We know that we have some lessons that we have already learned, and we have to remember them, okay? It's very important because you have to remove yourself from whatever is going on, whatever stuff that maybe you want to have closure with or closure from, whoever this person is that you want to come back. It's very important that you put it on hold. Even if they approach you, you kind of just be like, okay, you can engage, but nothing major, okay? So this is a sign for me that you are going to hear from someone, whoever it is that you are, he or she that's going to come back. This is my card. This is the Aquarius card. I see this as a confirmation card saying that, okay, hey, okay, I'm on the right track. So, so just letting you know that I'm getting a confirmation. Okay, Aries. you are meant to rest this retrograde. Don't start anything, don't do anything. If this person comes into your life and starts messaging you and texting you, just, you know, just be chill about it. So you see how this is nice, this kind of like relax, and how this little puppy over here kind of has his feet bandaged up. I don't know if you can see it, but you know, you've gone through a rough year, okay? And then based on my reading last week for Valentine's, if you can go back to that, there'll be a link below. You had a hard time, and it's going to be kind of tough. So this retrograde, don't start anything. Don't start anything new. Even if the love of your life like throws himself at you, just be like, okay, let's pause. Let's take this slow. I'm not rejecting you, but I'm also not accepting you. I'm just kind of, I need some downtime to kind of like fix my house. You know, fix. I mean, when I say house, you keep my, you know, fix the, you know, the things that I need to keep in order. Okay. What I am being told though is that use this time to, you know, rest and have some outdoor activities. If you're in a place that's cold, I know this is the beach and whatnot, you know, do something with your friends. I think if you can get some fresh air, whether it's by the sea or just in nature, or even just like going to the park, or if it's impossible where you are, just even just, you know, stepping out in your balcony and making sure that you have some time with your friends. And this is going to be very important because this works with you kind of removing yourself from the situation. Again, whatever drama it is that's going on, whether it's internal or around you because of this person that you want to come back, it's very clear. It's pause. Just remove yourself from the situation. Don't start anything. Don't do anything. Because it's about finding balance, okay? You have to rest and find balance this retrograde so that you can, when Mercury goes direct, March 10, then it's kind of like, okay, the play button starts, okay? So here again, if you notice, you see here, Temperance, you know, is the card of Libra. So if you are waiting for someone to come back to you and they're a Libra, I would take it slow. I would make sure that you're balanced and they are balanced, because the way I'm seeing it is that I think there's something going on. What I feel is there's something going on with them, and they're trying to find balance in their own life. They're trying to kind of like right the wrong that they did you, and they want to do it now, for whatever reason it is. It's like all of a sudden, maybe you didn't hear from this person, or this person was like ghosting you, or you know, kind of like wishy-washy, and then now all of a sudden they're present, and they're like, no, we're gonna fix this now. What I'm getting here is like, yes, you're going to get the justice that you deserve, because I feel this person really did not, their major indecisiveness really didn't help your situation. It just kind of like confused you even more. And because of their nature, you kind of need to take a step back, because you don't want to put something into this that you're, well, you know, you'll get back, sure, during retrograde. For example, if you go and you guys start dating again, or hanging out, or hooking up, or spending time together, sure, it's going to be wonderful during retrograde. It's going to be all, you know, whatever phase that they're going through, where they have this sort of like guilt, but they need to, you deserve the justice that was never served to you by them because of what they did. So they kind of like want to give this to you now. But the thing is once retrograde ends, they're going to just go back to their own patterns. And this is a test for you, okay? You need to remember that you have to give yourself, you have to do yourself some justice. And put in what is minimal for them and maximum for you. Okay, so you need to rest, you need to get your things in order, you know, clean your house, check your work, whatever is like backlog, spend time with your friends, and the effort with them just minimal. So they're kind of like going to be still around after the retrograde, but then their intentions are going to be clearer, okay? Because I see that this person is going to communicate with you. You know, that's what retrograde is famous for. Usually what happens is that if you fight during retrograde and you don't talk to each other, la la la. As soon as retrograde ends, they're back into your life. Now, sometimes what happens is that you haven't been talking to someone for forever, and then retrograde happens, and then all of a sudden they're communicating with you. But the thing with that is that after retrograde, that communication is going to stop. Why? Okay. Because you see here, this is the moon. Because they're not being completely honest. There's something that they're not telling you as to why all of a sudden they're back in the picture, or they're talking to you, or they want to see you. They're not being completely honest. So what should you do? I'm not saying for you to be dishonest. I'm also saying for you to keep your cards close to your chest. They're hiding something from you, which I feel is unfair, because then, this is kind of like stirring up emotions that you could possibly stir up emotions that you've had for them, that you've kind of sorted. So don't show all your cards. Keep them at an arm's length, and wait and see how they are. Because what I'm seeing here is, if you follow this advice that I am giving you, okay, during retrograde, they're going to be like this here. There's this kid here hanging on to the dress of their mom, and kind of like, hey, look at me, I'm here. And you're kind of still moving on. There's a lot of action of moving forward, but moving forward for yourself. Okay, now this is a big test, because why? If you're kind of minding your own business and kind of like interacting with them minimally, keeping them at an arm's length, what could happen is that, obviously, somehow, it's always like that. When you're pushing them away, you're not giving them all your energy, all of a sudden they want to come full steam at you. Okay, like, I want to be with you, I want to sleep with you, I want to spend every second with you. And then, it can also be like, hey, why aren't you paying attention to me? I'm here right now, I'm ready to go. And that's not good, because after retrograde, it's not going to be okay, because they're going to snap out of it. Whatever phase or whatever it is that they're going through right now, it's like they're going to be like, oh, well, all of a sudden they might even be like, whoa, hold on a second, you're going too fast. I just started talking to you. I really didn't want to. They start to do that wishy-washy thing again after. And what I'm telling you is that you need to protect yourself from this. So we want to protect you from this happening. So that's why I'm saying, hey, okay, look, this retrograde, it's a big pause. It's a big, like, the way I see this, this is the old crone in the regular tarot, okay, the old crone, and you've gone through this before. You've gone through this before with them. You know it. You've seen it. And you've seen this pattern in your other relationships as well. So this is kind of like, hey, I know what's going on. I'm going to pause. I'm going to remember to be present, to be more grounded. Now, if you're feeling kind of overwhelmed, I burnt myself with my own incense. So I guess that's a sign, like, you've got to pause, or so that you don't burn yourself. This is also very important, because it's going to stir up a lot of stuff also that you thought that you've kind of been over. So what I'm being told here is to cleanse. Again, if you are in a place, let's say if it's too cold to go to the beach, you can do a salt bath. Okay, pink salt is really, really good. You can get some Florida water, just like a capful, and put it in your bath, and help you with your emotions and your healing. I'm gonna put a link at the end to some energy healers that I find that are very, very helpful. This is a time where you turn in. This is a time where you kind of do first aid and try to just maintain some sort of equilibrium in your life, despite the sudden shift, for example, when this person comes back to you. Because what happens is that after retrograde, you've been proactive with all this stuff that's coming up. You've been proactive, and you're saying, okay, well, what I'm feeling, I need to heal, and I'm going through this situation because this is a lesson I need to face again. So if you're proactive about that and say, hey, I know what's going on. Okay, this is what I need to do. This is my first aid. Do some energy healing, do some cleansing. be with your friends, work on work stuff, on personal stuff. Then when the retrograde is over, you would have kind of released this stuff that was swept under the rug that you thought wasn't there anymore, including a person when this person comes back. Versus if you go into this retrograde and you're like, yeah, you know, there's that Venus energy, you know, a lot of pleasure, oh, this person's gonna come back, and then you start to fall into the old patterns. Then when retrograde is over, it's just like another pile of crap that you're gonna have to deal with, because you're gonna end up back in the place where you thought you had moved on from already. Anyway, so far that's what I have for you, this retrograde reading. So whenever you watch this video is going to be the right time for you. But I'm doing this on February 17th, so I'm like just in the retrograde. So I hope this made sense. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to do so in the comment section below. Please be mindful that this is a safe space for you, a safe space for me. So even if you're going to say something maybe that you don't agree with or whatever, let's be mindful about it and caring about it. And constructive criticism is always a good thing. Anyway, so please like this video if this resonates with you, and please subscribe. I need 100 subscribers. So that YouTube kind of, I don't know, recognizes me as a regular YouTube channel or whatever. But it would be nice. Please subscribe and like this video. And if this doesn't resonate with you, then I hope you stick around to watch the next video I post for you. Take care. Bye-bye.